Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our My Story Matters. Tonight, we have some very, very special guests with us. Kim and Bonnie Heath coming from Ocala, Florida. Tonight's going to be a little bit different because tonight is going to have the focus of a horse stories. As we use our products for more than just humans. They are for mammals. And Kim and Bonnie Heath have seen great success with using some of our activators, or mainly, I would say probably Protandim NRF2. But they live in Ocala, Florida. They are, I'm gonna very respected in the thoroughbred industry for breeding, raising, training, and racing top horses, including champion and horse of the year Holy Bull, which I do have a picture of, as well as their own health benefits. The Heaths have had very positive experiences using LifeVantage products with their horses. Some of their accolades, which I think are just astounding. They were awarded the LifeVantage Hero Award for their work coordinating and sending supplies and assistance to the large animals in 2017 hurricanes in Texas, Florida, and Puerto Rico. Also, they have the award for distinguished service to the community. It is my honor and great pleasure to introduce Kim and Bonnie to our Zoom tonight, and I'm very excited to talk to them, about how this even came about in your world. And all of a sudden, typically, um, you know, we see people using these products, but I think a lot of people are baffled when they find out that horses and dogs can take our products as well. And I would love for you to explain to everybody on our Zoom tonight how long you've been in LifeVantage and how you were introduced to this.
Very good. Thank you, Kim. We are, we were actually at a thoroughbred horse sale in Saratoga, New York in 2012, buying some yearlings for clients, and which is what we do. Another one of the things that we do. And we're absolutely minding our own business, working hard. And out of the blue comes a gal we had known from here at Ocala, Deb Crowell. I've been knowing Deb for 25 years at that point in time, and she's gosh, she can't stand herself. She's all full of this information, and she's bubbling over and telling us all this stuff, and we're not even really hearing much of what she's saying. But we're I guess we smiled at the right moment. She didn't walk away. But anyway, we took the information, forgot about it. Fast forward 8 months to April 2013. And we were at a thoroughbred sale here in Ocala, and Deb comes walking across the ring toward us, and she looked like a different person. She looked that much healthier than she had 8 months prior. Um, and we said, Deb, what are you doing? And she kind of grinned and she says, same damn thing I told you about in Saratoga. And we we just kind of chuckled and had her come over to breakfast the next morning, and we watched the ABC primetime video, and we were all in. And Kim and I are not real big joiners, but it made perfect sense for us and for our horses. So, and little did we know, 3 weeks to the day later, our best thoroughbred mare, Miss Pangea, who was 18 years old at the time, had a stillborn foal that day and had some retained placenta. And the next morning, it was Saturday, actually the morning of the Preakness 2013. She's got full-blown laminitis, all 4 feet, and she was as bad as we've ever seen. And if you don't know the disease, I hope you never do. Very painful and usually fatal. And we managed to get her in the barn. The vet came to treat her with standard Western medicine, which, sorry, doesn't work very well, but it's all we knew. But in that 3 week period leading up to this, Kim had been smart enough to pass on some information about NRF2 activation to our vet. And he's a curious guy and a smart guy. And He does know horses and he does know cattle and all animals. He read it and had studied it. And Kim puts the bottle of NRF2 Protandim in his hands and said, "What about trying this?" And he said, "Why not? Let's try it." We said, "How much?" And he says, "I don't know." He said, "But I can tell you this," and y'all remember this too. "I can tell you this. You give her this whole bottle right now at one time." He said, it's not going to hurt her." He said, "It's 5 herbs and there's nothing in there that's going to cause her any problems." Well, she went that from that morning, that Saturday morning to Sunday afternoon, about 5 or 6 o'clock, about 36 hours roughly, from an animal that wanted to die. I mean, she had the death look in her eye, and to an animal that wanted to live. Sunday evening, she's looking out the top of her stall and she's nickering out in the paddock to her buddies. And she's telling them where she is. She's stepping out of her ice tubs because we had her standing in ice about 14 hours a day. And it was that dramatic and that sudden. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And like I said, she was 18 years old, and the whole thing was phenomenal. Fast forward to Tuesday, which was the third day of this whole thing, and he shot X-rays of her feet, which is common practice, and there was no sinking of the sole and no rotation of the coffin bone, which are both very, very common. She had neither, and he was shocked, and he said, "I'm going to have to give you some more antibiotics." He said, "I only gave you enough for 3 days." He says, "Because I didn't think she'd live 3 days." And I told him, frankly, I didn't think she'd make the first night. She was that bad. Um, Fast forward 3 more days till Thursday, and
Shoot, I think you're frozen.
I tell you this, I tell you this, what we've seen, we use the same products that everybody else uses. We use K-Pen, Banamine, fluids, and all the other stuff that we always use. And the only uncommon denominator was the NRF2 activator. And we use it for a lot of other things. We use it for sales yearlings and sales weanlings. A quick example of that is we sent a yearling to Keeneland for sale, and we put him on one NRF. Ooh, there's a good picture. One
Oops.
NRF2 a day up to the sales time, and we went to see him in his stall at the end of the first day, and the gal that was showing him or selling him for us said he had showed 73 times that day, which they put the shank on them and they brush them off and bring them out and walk them up and down for people and put them back in the stall. And that happened 73 times, and it's a lot for a yearling, quite a bit. And we went to see him, and his head was hanging. He was back in the back corner, had his head down, and he was tuckered out. And so we looked at the consignor and said, "Give him 2 more this afternoon, and then give him 3 in the morning, 3 pills in the morning." And his head was up the next day, and he was on point. He was ready to go, and he sold very, very well. So he learned a lesson. 2 months after that, that was September. 2 months after that, the November sale rolls around, and we had a weanling in. Now, this weanling was about 9 months old at the time, plus or minus a little bit. Had been away from his mother for probably 3 months was all. You take a 9-month-old foal and you take them off the farm where they've never left before. You put them on a van. You ship them up the road 750 miles. You put them on a sales ground with 800 or 1,000 other horses screaming and raising Cain, and you expect them to be normal. Well, let me tell you something. This guy was normal. It was phenomenal. His first day on the sales grounds, he showed 93 times. And I was so shocked at the number. I told the consignor, I said, "You can't show a horse 93 times one day." And so she says, "Come over here, big boy. I'll make you." And she made me count them. I counted them, and he had shown 93 times. So Kim and I go to his stall, and I figured he's going to be passed out in the middle of the stall laying down. We walk to the stall. He comes to the screen on the front of the stall. His eyes are bright, his ears are pricked, and he's ready to go out. He thinks we're coming to take him out again. He's ready to go. And there's no wasted energy. He's not nervous, he's not hyper. He's just focused. And so we've seen that, and we cut our vet bills dramatically with these products. We really have. There's no way to estimate it because horses come and go, but I would guesstimate 45 to 50%, maybe even a little bit more than that. We cut our vet bills over time. So um, we're we're here to testify how much they work. And that one picture that you showed, Kim, of that the side of a mare, that's actually Miss Pangea's older sister. And Kim, you tell that story about that sarcoid.
Yes, this is a sarcoid, and they are suspicious growths on horses and probably dogs and cats and humans and every other mammal. And they typically, I mean, in my history with the horses, is they started out trying to burn them off. And they always come back either, and they spread and they'll come out other places on the body. Well, when she got this one, she was already taking Protandim NRF2, and this thing just popped up suddenly, and we had the guy that works for us put the NRF2 lotion on there, which was the anti-aging lotion that we had before. And I think this all happened
6 days.
in 6 days. That chunk of sarcoid fell off in his hand when he was putting the medicine on. And you can see in this picture, there's a little stub, which is the root of it, which if it's going to spread, it'll spread from that root. Well, the root, you can see in the next picture, was just kind of absorbed into the body and healed into a scar. And over time, you can see the scar there, and it never has come back on her anywhere on her body. Never grew back. This is a picture of her that was taken a few months ago. She's 30 years old, happy, healthy, running around the paddock. She jogs around when it's time to eat dinner, acting like a 15-year-old.
When Jesus was putting that on there, rubbing it on there, on day 6 when it fell off in his hands, I thought he turned and looked at the camera. I thought he was going to throw up. I said, well, you've been rubbing it for 6 days. What's the big deal? He said, I know, but look. And there it was. But the neat thing is it didn't come back. So
yes. And like Bonnie said, she's the older sister of Miss Pangea.
So you primarily have used just the NRF2 activator and then the anti-aging NRF2 cream for horses.
Yeah, we have used NRF1 and NAD in certain situations, and still doing it. Depends on we've used it for non-sweaters, because down here in Florida, as you know, it gets a little warm, and some horses have a little trouble sweating, which is going to be dangerous in humans also. But that's back to what our vet said. We're not afraid to try these products because they are not drugs, and they don't have side effects, and that's just a neat thing. And you don't have to worry about overdoses. We probably initially we did too many NRF2s for Miss Pangea initially, but we dosed her by weight because we were 3 weeks into this thing and we didn't know, but we knew one thing: she wasn't going to make it if we didn't do something dramatic. And so we dosed her by weight. I said, I'm 180 and I do one a day, and she's about 1,200 pounds. So we gave her 9 a day and spread them out throughout the day. But like I say, there was no concern whatsoever about causing her any harm. And that's pretty special. And it's so much cheaper than what a vet would do for you. I mean, it's bizarre what these costs are. So it's been a godsend.
And we found over the years that it's not weight dependent. it's more like the speed of metabolism in other mammals, in all mammals, really. And say a horse's metabolism is much faster than a human's, such that when we wanted to use it on some of the race horses just to see if it made them a little, more happy or focused and things like that. And it definitely did. And we asked the vet, well, can we use it for racing? It's an all natural product. And so they tested it and decided that there wasn't anything that was really testing at the time with it. But the thoroughbred racing is up to like 4,000 different things they test for. It's really, really extreme. And so you never know what might come up as a trace in there, a tiny, tiny amount of something that was still in their system after it comes out. So the vet said, why don't you just put it to where you stop it 3 days before a race? And he said, because 3 days, it's going to be out of their system. And he said, you're not going to see any benefits in their racing ability from it. But that's not what we were looking for anyway. We just like our horses to be happy and healthy. So that's the basis for us using it on the race horses, like all the other horses we use it on that are happy and healthy. And well, Bonnie, tell them about the old mare.
Yeah, we several years ago we had
the other old mare.
yeah, we got a bunch of oldies. We take them to retire. We had an old beautiful chestnut mare, 29 years old, and she was really arthritic in her knees, and she was barely walking around the paddock. It was all she could do to walk. And when we first tried her on this, and we put her on 1 pill a day, and we had a gal that was living in the paddock right by her, right where this mare was. And she called us one day and she said, "You're not going to believe what I just saw." And we said, "Well, what'd you say?" She said, "Granny just galloped across the paddock." I said, "You got to be kidding me." She says, "No, she just galloped across the paddock on those arthritic knees." She felt that good. And so she lived 2 more years. She had to be 31. And about the last 6 months or so, we had to bump her up to 2 a day, but it was a joy to watch this old mare be happy the last 2 years of her life. And finally, she just laid down one day and just was gone. I mean, this is what we all want to do. I want to go gallop, 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 bong, I'm dead. That's what we're all looking for, I think. At least that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to lay around in the hospital and do all those things that you hear about. So that quality of life that we can give them is worth everything.
Absolutely. So is it standard for you to put every single one of your horses on it? And at what age do you start?
Well, the question has always come up in my mind and into the science end of it, and we've never really been able to pin an answer on it. Is there, that the oxidative stress is in the body for a reason. What we're doing is making it move faster, is to get it out, flush it out, detox it out faster. And then you come to the thought that, well, if this is a part of the normal process of our body, how much control should we have on it over the lifespan? So we've just kind of played around with it, trying to see what happens with the horses, and we've used it for everything for every age. So the ones that we keep on it are the ones that have an issue, but the ones that the other ones, we might just use it for weaning. We might put the mare in the foal on NRF2 for, say, 3 weeks before we wean, and then when the mare is separated from the baby will go on its own for a little while till they adjust and they're in their new program, and then just kind of wean off of it. and see if they need it anymore. Usually they don't. But if they have a problem, or like if we're getting ready for a sale or getting ready to send them somewhere and they're going to be on the van for a long time, yeah, we'll just give it to them because they're going to have an increase of oxidative stress.
Doc Marvin, of course, always called it a normalizer, and which was perfect. But I tell you what happened, Kim, too. Initially, we were so excited about what happened to Miss Pangea and her condition. We started having meetings over here at the house, and Debbie was kind enough to come over and orchestrate some meetings for us. And we, within 13 months of when we started, we became what the old Pro 6. I don't know where it is now, but in 13 months, just by telling the story, because people around, we got a lot of horse people, obviously, in this county. We're second only to Kentucky in thoroughbred production. So the interest is here, but people started hearing that story, and nothing else that they knew worked, and this would. So it's really phenomenal.
That is incredible. I know that, you know, I don't have a lot of people, I have a few customers that put their horses on it. I've just have never been in the horse world like you. Do you find that it's a difficult conversation to have, that, or are people more open-minded about it? The, you know, equine veterinarians and the holistic um professionals, that deal in the equine world, the groomers, the farriers, breeders, other breeders.
The people in the horse business have probably been pitched everything imaginable in the world, and you run into people all the time and don't tell me anything new. I don't want to hear about it. But then there's always some that are thinking outside the box, looking for something different that will cause no harm. The vets are just like doctors. It's really, really tough to get their attention because they too have been pitched a lot of stuff. And the vet that we used had to have the approval to carry this product on his truck by the partners in the big firm that he worked for, and he didn't get it. I mean, I don't even know if he didn't ask or he didn't get the approval, but I would think he would have. I would have had half my truck full of it. But anyway, Kim asked him. She said, "What will you do if your little boy's pony gets laminitis?" And he looked at her and he said, "I'll call you." So, um, you know, there are places that you can go and places that you can't. But you always share, and you always take the chances that somebody's going to listen, because, or that they will remember the conversation down the road when something does happen. And because nobody's going to come running in the door and say, "Give me some Protandim because my horse is really doing good." And that doesn't happen. It's because something's gone wrong. So,
Sure,
anyway.
sure. Um, I know that, in the past, I've spoken with multiple people when they're looking at this for their horses, and they've asked about, is there a direct study between this and horses? And, being that they're a mammal and oxidative stress is within all of us, that's basically, I mean, I'm assuming that's truly also the stance that you take too.
Mhm.
Do you
Yeah.
lead them to go research oxidative stress and all the conditions that are attached to it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We send them straight to PubMed and say, look, there's, you know, thousands of studies of oxidative stress with the same issue you're talking about with your animal. So, whether that same issue is with a human instead of an animal, we know by our first study that ours is effective in all mammals. So there's the answer. We don't need for somebody to spend a lot of money doing a study on horses just because we're making somebody happy. It's silly. we know that it works. It's a
Right.
mammal.
Exactly. And, it's astounding some of the videos that I've watched, the
Oh,
before and after videos. And I know that I wasn't able to load the video that you sent me, but the video that you sent after her laminitis was amazing. Just, short period of time to her, out in the field.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. And I'm
And
gonna
that's
tell you,
proof right there for people.
she wanted to die that Saturday morning. It was awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We,
these are, go ahead.
the one on the left is the horse that we had that was the champion 3-year-old and horse of the year. We did not own him. He was born at our farm, and we trained him and sent him to the track ready for his last little bit to get ready to run. And the one on the right is Miss Pangea's son.
Mad Flatter. And the jockey on Mad Flatter is none other than John Court, who might be on this call. I'm not sure.
That's amazing. I know that there are some jockeys in our company. I met Ramon.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yep, yep. And we were actually in Cancun it was my very, very first incentive trip that I had earned with LifeVantage, and I had a broken ankle.
Oh.
And
Oh.
so I was going around on a scooter, but I was able to meet quite a few people and was just absolutely floored by even the stories he shared as well. And,
Oh.
he, like, as much as I do, that when you find something that is the scope of this gift, it's a moral obligation to share it into your network. Whether people choose to pursue it or not, at least you get that out of you
Yep.
and you put it on them and people can make the decisions, and that really is the way I approach things. Everyone in my network knows, and I would assume that everyone in your network knows as well that you're affiliated with LifeVantage and you personally are also taking the products and just kind of would love for you to, I guess, shed some light on that as well.
Well, gladly. And it is a moral obligation. I mean, shame on us if we don't share this because it works. And it works every time. That's the other thing about horses and dogs and cats and all that stuff. They do not go to the University of Google. You tell them you tell your horse, hey, take this, and they take it, and it either works or it doesn't. They do not go Google up uh, something about pro tandem online, which I'm sorry, Google's good for addresses and old songs. That's all I can tell you. So, uh, but it's turned it into a very uh, fun thing to do, and we share it with whoever and whenever we can, and um,
And people notice the difference in us
Yeah.
too. We're no spring chickens, but we don't take any drugs.
yeah, zero.
All the people around us are talking about all the drugs they take and all the surgeries they've had, and we look at each other and go, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I went to my 50th class reunion seven years ago. So I'm 74 now. I went to my class reunion 50th, and that's all people were talking about was their surgeries and the drugs they were taking. I said, I got nothing for you. I've got nothing for you. I'm a lap swimmer, been swimming laps for 43 years. And when I first started, here's the story. When I first started taking this product, we've been going probably 6 weeks, something like that. And Kim's outside watering the plants around the back, around the pool. And I'm getting through my laps. I'm getting out. And she looks at me and she said, you just finished your laps, didn't you? I said, yeah, 27. And she said, you're not even breathing hard. And I said, oh.
Yeah, he used to have
Yeah.
to walk it off
Yeah.
around the pool a few times.
Yeah, I said, you're right. And I wasn't, and it's 95 degrees or whatever it was, and the pool water was warm, and I got out and no recovery time, zero recovery time. the collagen, the liquid collagen, a couple of years ago, my shoulder started bothering me, and I figured, gee whiz, I've probably done umpteen hundred thousands of rotations with the shoulder, and my shoulder started hurting, which shouldn't be surprising. But Kim said, well, jump on the collagen. And I did not start taking it when it first came out, but this was October, a few months after it had started. And so I took the collagen, and hey, shoulder 35, 40 days later, shoulder wasn't bothering me one bit. So it's great. It's great to see these things work. It really is.
Absolutely. I think our company is just the research, the proven track record that we have, the down to the manufacturing process and the ingredient sourcing. It's a huge blessing. And I will never ever stop these products. They saved my life. They are saving my life from being sick for 7 years and not a doctor knowing what to do with me back then. And in as short of 5 days, my whole life was changed. And I feel like the longer we're in this company, the more excited I am. And we have this new launch coming up, and there's a lot of exciting things. And just the fact that LifeVantage is staying so far ahead of cutting edge research out there, and then providing us the proof that it's going to do what it says it's going to do is just all we need. I've been in this company now a little over 8 years, and I remember thinking I wanted to be skeptical and do all the things, but I like you listen to all these people complaining about their health issues, and that's at 74. Unfortunately, I'm 49 and I'm hearing the same things. My network of people is full of pharmaceutical drugs, and it's not even 49, it's their children too. And we've had some unbelievably astounding transformations just within the last few months. Um, of people, younger kids, and it like, oh, you can change somebody's life with this, and I know it's not an easy thing all the time, to talk to people and whether or not they want to listen, but the thing is it doesn't hurt if they're going to say no, that's okay, because you as probably know as well as I do that there's a lot of people that have said no that are now saying yes.
Yep.
And it's
Exactly.
really about other people and changing other people's lives. And when you guys said that you would be honored to do this tonight, it just there's so many, not just people but animals too that need this. I had just somebody in the I have questions that I'm seeing in the chat that we can address after this, but is there anything else that you would add to, any advice that you would give to people that want to approach this with, maybe people that have sick animals or want to put animals on this?
Well, your focus on the quality control that you mentioned is huge to me. Being a publicly traded company is huge to me also. I was a stockbroker for about 13 years, and that's really, really important. But for anybody that is thinking about their animal and wants to do something for their animal, this would be the top of my list right here, because the body, God gave us a body, all humans, animals, whatever, all mammals. Body will heal itself if we'll quit putting crap into it and quit, a lot of the stuff that we all do that's wrong, and even, watch the food that we eat and the food that we feed our animals. It's critical. So I think I would suggest anybody that's considering this, just prove it to yourself. And the neat thing, like I said earlier, like Kim said earlier, is they oxidize so much quicker. So if you're going to see a turnaround, and you're going to see a turnaround in your critters a lot quicker than you're going to see it in a person. And plus, they're not sitting on that computer, like I say, trying to second guess everything that you tell them and show them. So I wouldn't bat an eye.
And take video, right?
Yeah, oh, always,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Video. They
Yeah,
can't tell us that it's a placebo, they can't tell us that it's, not working for them. It's plain as day. So
yep,
definitely the video. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming on tonight and um kicking off our My Story Matters series in October. It's so much appreciated, and this recording will be available to everybody. I will make sure to get it on my YouTube channel. And um I'm gonna go ahead and I'll stop the recording, and then we can open it up for questions if you're okay with that. I know that
sure,
there are
Yeah.
some in
sure.
the comments.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.